And now, coming to you via YouTube from rural Dexter, Michigan, it's the Vladcast program, and I'm your host, John Hill, here with my guest, the Very Reverend Father Gregory Joyce, rector of St. Vladimir Parish in rural Dexter, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Father, it is great to be here. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to be here, John. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Anytime, Father.
Thank you.
Maybe do this once a month or so.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. It's November now? Yes, it's November.
Yes.
In Michigan and at the parish, and it's finally the sort of month that I've been waiting for.
Good.
And that's a month that's not a lot going on.
That's right.
Some stuff, but...
Right. We're not slammed, in other words. Yes.
So, what would you say the biggest event would be for the parish in November?
Well, I guess almost by default it has to be the Bishop Peter's visit, because when the bishop visits, it's a visit of a successor of the apostles, and so that's a really important time for a parish. So Bishop Peter's visiting us for the Feast of St. Demetrius, which is great because when we expanded the church and we placed relics in the foundation, the relics were of St. Demetrius. So that's always a big feast for us. This year it falls on a Sunday. And what's nice is one of our Serbian families has their Slava also on that feast. And so after the vigil on Saturday night, the bishop himself will cut the kolač for them and read the prayers. So I think it's going to be, that in itself is really wonderful. And then on Sunday we have the ordination of a deacon. So it's going to be a really full and I think great visit.
Okay, so it sounds like three important things. Now, real quick, would you go over what is a Slava and
sure, that's a good
Russian
question.
church? Why do we?
That's a good question. Well, you know, in
the
the
Serbian.
in the diaspora, well, we'll call it the diaspora. In the abroad, the Serbs and the Russians have always sort of mingled together. Wherever there is a Serbian church but not a Russian church, then the Russians will be there. Where there's a Russian church and not a Serbian church, then the Serbians will be there. And that works out really nicely. For whatever reason, it's just been a very good sort of partnership. And so almost every Russian priest abroad knows how to serve a Slava. A Slava is the Serbian family saint. Most Orthodox Christians are named after a saint, have a patron saint themselves. Whereas in the Serbian tradition, the family has a saint, and that saint is sort of adopted by the family on the day when that family left paganism and became Christian. And so there are certain major ones in the year. St. Nicholas is a big one. St. John the Baptist, the day after the Theophany, is a real big one. And there are others, depending kind of on where you're from in Serbia. But we have a family that has their Slava on St. Demetrius. And so this family, however long ago, hundreds of years, maybe 1,000 years ago, left paganism and became Christian and were baptized on this day. And so even though they maintain, for the most part, their pagan names, they have this family saint that is their patron saint for all of them. So in that family. So it's a really, really strong tradition in the Serbian church, and we're really privileged to have some Serbians in our parish. I think it's really good. I like having Serbs in our parish. I think it's very good for all of us. More diversity provides more strength, I think, in the parish. So that's really great. And Bishop Peter, because at the time when he wanted to do higher theological education after seminary, there was no path to go to Russia. It was still the Soviet Union then, so he couldn't go there. Therefore, he went to Belgrade, and he studied and graduated from Belgrade Theological Academy. And of course, while he was there, learned how to do Slava and all sorts of other very interesting things, as well as speak Serbian fluently. So it just works out really nicely that all these things come together for our parish family to be able to celebrate together with our Serbian family.
Okay. So if I wanted to write a prayer request or commemoration for a Serbian friend, would I use their pagan name or the Slava saint?
Usually I would say we use their still ancient name, pagan name. For instance, our founding starosta of our parish, Milovoja, subsequently there have been martyrs in the Serbian church who have had names, who had those pagan names, and sort of they were sanctified, right? But that was not a Christian name that he had, and it's very common that they don't have those Christian names that you find in the rest of the Orthodox Church. So we commemorate them as they're named, as they're baptized. They're baptized with those names, and we commemorate them with those names, but the family keeps the commemoration of that Slava Saint very, very close.
Super. Okay, then what is event number 2 in terms of importance for
Well, if we say 1 is the bishop's visit with the ordination, I think it's good to just pause on the ordination for a minute, because in a parish, you don't really, that's not a sacrament that is served very often. In cathedral parishes, yes, a lot of ordinations take place there, but in a parish, it's something really quite special, I would say, and I really hope that people are going to take the time to come and participate in the services with the bishop. Ideally, everyone will prepare themselves to partake of Holy Communion, and everyone will be here for the ordination. The ordination of a deacon takes place immediately after the consecration of the gifts, because the deacon, the grace that the deacon has is to assist in the services, not to perform any of the sacraments. A priest is ordained right before the consecration of the gifts, and so he participates in that as a newly ordained priest. In any case, this sacrament, which can only be performed by a bishop, a priest can't perform an ordination, only a bishop can, is really a symbol of the continuity of the church from ancient times. From ancient times, candidates have been chosen and ordained by the bishops to serve in the church. And so this is really something that's important for us to participate in. And when I say participate in, it's just like the liturgy or any of the other divine services. We aren't spectators, we are participants. And we participate also in the ordination as we sing Axios for the newly chosen and ordained person. But it's happened in the past that people get so excited that they start their Axios a little early. So we actually published something on the website last week, and we'll put it up again this week, that explains how this happens, who says what when, so that we don't jump the gun. Yeah, I mean, people are zealous and excited, and that's all good, but we want to try to do that in the right order. And so we put a little explanation, very short little explanation on the website about that. So this is a great blessing for our parish. It's a huge honor to have an ordination in the parish. In the almost 35 years of our parish, this will be the 3rd ordination that we've had, and I think that we have to be really thankful to God to allow this, and Bishop Peter to trust us to be able to take care of this. And yeah, it's something really exciting for us.
Okay, are you nervous? You think it's gonna go all
Nervous?
right?
I think things will go all right. I mean, well, we've been working together with the choir and with the candidate, Vadim Perezhenko. We've gone over it, I think, in great detail, and I think we're at that point now where we're as ready as we can be. And there's always temptations, but that's fine. We're ready for that, and I think everything will be great.
Okay. Is there anything different about the service beyond that inserted part after the consecration?
Well, what's interesting is that after the new deacon is ordained, one of the things that things that he's given as part of his service is the fan. And it's a very interesting thing, like, why does the deacon have a fan? You almost never see a deacon
Like a
with a
fan?
fan. No, the fan like the liturgical ones that we use to hold over the gospel or over an icon. And why is that? Well, if you look carefully, and you'll be able to see it best from the from the south side of the church, the deacon will be placed on the south side of the altar, and he will fan the holy gifts in the form of a cross with the fan after his ordination. And it's our understanding that was done pretty regularly by the deacons in the ancient church when the control of insects was a little bit more of a problem than it is now.
With that heavy metal?
It may not have been with quite that ornate a thing, but it's still hearkening back to that time. This is the only time that the deacon does it now in our days, is on the day that he was ordained. But it's interesting that that's part of the ordination service. And then we'll see that he comes out for his first ectenia at the very end of the liturgy, but he's with the proto-deacon. What we don't see in the altar is that the deacon, the newly ordained deacon, sort of stays beside the senior deacon for the rest of the service. he partakes of Holy Communion with him, he's sort of standing with him, he's instructing him as he goes, and then when he comes for his first litany, the protodeacon is also standing with him. The protodeacon doesn't say anything, he's just there in case, I guess, the deacon gets lost, the new deacon gets lost. So this is all really wonderful, and the grace of God that's manifest in the ordination is, well, it's just like nothing else. And so although doors are opened, just like on Pascha, to signify the grace of God which is descending upon the candidate, and it's really a beautiful, beautiful...
For the whole liturgy?
No, just during the ordination. Just during the ordination. After the ordination, they're closed. Yeah, so something really special and interesting, and I really, really hope that people will make the time, take the time to be here. Please don't forget that the services begin early when the bishop visits. As always, vigils at 5 o'clock and liturgies at 9 o'clock.
And you don't want to miss the vestment.
You don't. See, that's maybe not the best part, but that's a really important and interesting part, is when the bishop is vested. And the beginning of the service is called the meeting of the bishop. That means basically that people should be here. And when he comes in, he says the entrance prayers, and then he walks into the middle of the church and he's vested there. So interesting, so beautiful. I was working with the Orthodox Christian Foundation at U of M. I was leading one of the meetings a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of the young men asked me about, when will a bishop be visiting? And well, it turns out it was just in a couple of weeks, and they were excited. They were happy to see that, because they come from a tradition where the bishop is not vested in the middle of the church. They're looking forward to it. They're coming specifically for that.
What tradition is that?
In the Antiochian church, that doesn't happen.
Where does the bishop get vested?
In the altar.
Mm-hmm. Which is more ancient or original?
Which is more ancient? Well, probably the rite of vesting the bishop in the middle of the church came later. That's pretty likely. If I recall correctly, when we served the St. James Liturgy in Jordanville with Metropolitan Loris, I believe he was vested in the altar. So that comes later, but it doesn't mean
maybe a Byzantine thing. They had to make it more, elaborate and
most
triumphant.
Mm-hmm. But the church lives, so these kind of things develop, and I think it's a really beautiful, beautiful thing when the deacons are here up on the ambo and they're swinging the censers and they're reading the prayers that are usually read by the priest himself, as each piece of the vestment is put on the bishop by the subdeacons. So it's very, very neat part of the service, and really hope that people will be able to get up early and get here to do that.
Okay. Speaking of St. James, wouldn't it be swell if we could do a St. James liturgy at St. Vladimir one of these years?
I am 100% for that. Bishop Peter blessed us to do it, and we have the service, but only in Church Slavonic. We've not been able to get our hands on a good English service, so we are actively seeking that.
Isn't it from Jerusalem, or there's we could be the Jerusalem rite?
Yes, we can get a good Greek copy and a good Church Slavonic copy, because it was translated by seminarian some time ago as his thesis, but into Church Slavonic from Greek. But we haven't been able to get our hands on the good English.
But the Greeks didn't translate it to English?
No, it's only used in Jerusalem. It's not used in, for instance, if you go to a parish of the Greek Archdiocese here in North America, they're going to be serving St. John Chrysostom, same as us. So it's basically the same. It's only really in Jerusalem where this is used on any kind of regular basis.
And other places it's a curiosity.
Well, it's just not done that often, but usually on the feast of St. James, the Brother of the Lord, it could be done. And I remember doing it very well in Jordanville, just by happenstance or providence, or however we want to think about this. Every year that I was there, I somehow ended up assigned to be part of that liturgy. So that was wonderful. I was so happy about that, but I'd really love us to do it here.
So it happens in monasteries fairly regularly, and just not in parishes? Or
Actually, the only one I know of that does it regularly is Jordanville, because as we were checking around trying to get an English service, we went to some of the English-speaking monasteries and we couldn't get one. So we're still working on it. I had an old photocopy service in English when I was there in Jordanville, but somehow it's disappeared in these 20 years. But we're still looking. We're still looking, and of course it's there. We just haven't been able to quite get our hands on it. So God willing, next year we'll be able to do it.
All right. So aside from St. Demetrius, who, that's the fellow who fought the gladiator,
Mm-hmm.
right? What other important saints do we have in November?
Well, I think one of the most important is the feast of St. Michael and all the angels, and that's on the 21st. This year, the way that the schedule works out, that's going to be our English cycle of services. It's a Saturday. But we have quite a few people named after the angels in our parish, between our Michaels and our Gabriels and our Raphaels, and so there's quite a few, and so it's a names day of many. And so we'll do vigil on Friday night, the 20th, and liturgy on Saturday morning, the 21st. So that's a pretty big one. Also, St. John Chrysostom falls in November, even though he reposed on the Feast of the Exaltation of the Cross, because of the sort of greatness of that holiday, you couldn't celebrate him then. So he's on the 26th, if I recall correctly. This year that's Thanksgiving. So sometimes for Thanksgiving we're here, sometimes for family reasons we have to be gone. This is the year that we have to be gone. So we won't be serving liturgy for him this year. But God willing, well, almost certainly it'll happen next year.
Okay.
And we'll get the three hierarchs, when it comes to January.
Oh, sure.
And so
I think,
we'll catch him then.
John Chrysostom has a few feasts
He does.
around the year.
He does. But Thanksgiving also is, I think, a really good Orthodox holiday. Even though it's a civil holiday, it's definitely the most Orthodox of the civil holidays. This idea of giving thanks to God for the bounties that He gives to us, that's a very Orthodox approach to life. And, we should have this feeling towards God of being thankful for all that He gives us, for all the blessings that He gives us. So I think that this is such a family holiday. It's just such a great holiday from that point of view. And when we're in town, we try to do a service. This year we won't because we're not in town. But I think it's really good for us to not just kind of pass this by or think of it as a feast of, like who can eat the most turkey, but really, why was this established? To thank God. And well, for us as Orthodox Christians, that's a very big part of our lives. So I think that we should take this holiday seriously and really treat it as something where we give God thanks when we get together with our families and we celebrate the feast.
Adult group.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have an adult group?
We do. We had to cancel last month, unfortunately, on October 30th. And this month, if I recall correctly, it's on the 16th or the 23rd, and the parent group is on one of the other. The 16th and 23rd is the adult group and parent group, but I don't remember which.
Can you be in the adult group and the parent group at the same time?
You can, in fact.
Never scheduling conflicts?
No scheduling conflicts, and we like our parents to be adults. So that's something that we're striving for. So the adult discussion group, we'll be talking about what is a bishop, what's an ordination, why is a bishop important, all of these kind of things.
And this is before the bishop and the ordination?
Ideally, but it's not. It'll be after. So it'll be like a debrief.
But it'll still be, on people's minds.
It'll be fresh, because we'll have the bishop come, and we serve liturgy every day for a week, so we'll still be feeling the ordination, and this is an opportunity for the new deacon to serve and kind of get used to his new service. So the whole parish kind of embraces as part of that, because it's liturgy every day in our parish church.
Does that mean there's a vigil every night?
Almost. We will not do one on Monday. There's a scheduling conflict, but otherwise, yes, there's services every night. Every night at 6 and every morning at 8 for that week. So it's a real group, community, family effort to come together and make sure that there's people to sing and to read and to do all of those things, that all of the prosper is baked. And there's a lot that goes into that whole week of services, and it's great that everyone participates, people help and make it possible to do something that's really good for the whole community, because although obviously most people are working during the week, even if they're not able to be here, when the liturgy is served in the parish church, it's a benefit to everyone in the whole community. Everyone is prayed for, so it's something that's very positive.
So it sounds like in your lovely, gentle sort of way that you're encouraging parishioners to step up, be it baking prospera or reading or filling lampadas or sweeping.
Absolutely.
Or singing.
Absolutely. In one of the recent sermons, I can't remember exactly when it was, we talked about how ministry is for everyone. everyone has and should have a ministry. Ministry is not just limited to the ordained clergy. Everyone should be participating in some way, and everyone's small or great effort, depending on the person, that all helps the whole community to thrive. But we should mention about ordained clergy and that we could use more. I mean, it's great for us to be able to have one priest and one deacon.
You're getting Vadim. I mean,
well, yes,
that's probably enough for one.
I'm not trying to be greedy. Yes, it's enough for 1 month, enough for one bishop visit. But I think I'd like to plant that seed into the minds of our male parishioners who are eligible for ordination, that they should really think about that. We're a big parish. We think of ourselves often as a small parish, which is good. I like that. I like the fact that we have that small feel. But this is the second year in a row now that we're the largest parish in the diocese by membership. And I think we have to not think about importing clergy, but what can we do from within ourselves? So I hope that this ordination...
It is a big commitment.
It is a big commitment, and people should take it seriously. I don't mean that it in a flippant way at all, but I think that we should seriously consider that as a possible ministry. Not everybody can be or should be ordained because the altar is much smaller than the rest of the church, so that wouldn't work. But we certainly do need
and
more.
You got a bunch of kid boys in there.
We do, which is great and very exciting, and hopefully some of them will eventually serve the church in that capacity. But we could use more, and so not to be greedy, that's not the point, but we certainly have the people. It's just a matter of folks kind of coming to that. So I hope people will begin to think about that and pray about that a little bit, and whether that might be something that they could do.
Okay, great. Well, Father, the secret is out. You went to Boston for a couple days and came back.
Yes.
And how were the clams and the lobsters?
I had some cod. Mm-hmm. I did, and it was good. I have to be honest. I mean, I think when you're in a place like that, you have to have seafood. And I was there for Friday too, so it worked out really nicely. But what I found out about Boston is that every morning there's a 5:40 a.m. flight from from Boston to Detroit, and so I ended up taking that, which sounds really bad, but it actually worked out really nicely. In any case, it was a great trip. I was really happy to be there. As the dean of our seminary, I was invited to be at the inauguration of the new president of Hellenic College Holy Cross, and it was a very nice installation. Nice words were spoken. Every speaker spoke very succinctly. It was very impressive. Everybody was right about 2 minutes. That doesn't happen often. A lot of times people get up there and they kind of run on at the mouth, but it was really nicely done. I thought really great, and it was nice. I get to see some old friends. Some people from my doctoral program were there, and it was just really, really nice to be there.
And not just all Russians.
No, actually all the people that I saw there from my doctoral program were not Russian. So that program is nice in that it's very diverse, and I really enjoyed that part of it. In any case, that was nice, and then the next day, Bishop Peter has Episcopal oversight for the Orthodox Christian Network, but he didn't feel...
That's like a TV network? Or?
Well, it started out as an over-the-air broadcast network in South Florida, but they migrated to the internet pretty quickly in their early on in their life, and right now it's got the biggest footprint of any religious broadcaster online. It's really amazing the work that they've been able to do there.
Wow. So it's internet radio? And
they have radio, they have live stream services, video, they have live Bible study there, and a bunch of other things. I mean, they have great stuff. Actually, when I was there, I was interviewed about our walk of life that we did here in September. And so they're putting together a video with some of the still shots and some of the video that we had, and that'll go up there.
You should advertise that around here.
Well, you know what?
Flyers or something.
I think that's a great idea, and I was talking with some of their technical folks there. They have a sort of a template that you can integrate into your parish website, where it has their programming and your local parish programming. Because we have the Vladcast that we're doing today, we have the Path, we have other things that we offer. And so we're going to be working with them in the next maybe half year to create something where there'll be a one-stop kind of shopping place. Our parishioners will have a page Instead of like right now we have our YouTube channel, we have our song blog, stuff is kind of all over the place. It'll all be together along with the OCM programming. So I think it's really great. What they've been able to do is amazing. And so since Bishop Peter couldn't be at that meeting because he didn't feel well, he asked me to stay an extra day in Boston and be there for that. And I was really happy to do that. I think we began some really good relationships. And I think things that are going to really positively impact our parish and our parishioners.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very excited about that.
Now, let's see. What else is going on?
All kinds of things, John. All kinds of things going on all the time. I think something to look forward to, which it's not in this month, but I think we really have to plant the seed because it's so interesting.
The ball?
Well, I wasn't thinking about that, but that's a good one. That's a good one. We have been starting to talk about the ball, but I was thinking about the next children's liturgy, because as far as I know, nobody else is doing this. This is a really interesting thing. We've done this a couple of times where the kids, they sing, they serve, they work in the kiosk, they ring the bells. It's all the kids. And it gives them a real sense of ownership of this parish. Like, this is not just the place that my parents dragged me, but this is the place that I participate in as well. I belong here. And so, it'll be St. Nicholas. St. Nicholas falls on a Saturday this year, so it works out just great. It's a feast of children in any case. So I'm really looking forward to that. We do 4 a year, and that'll be kind of our last one of the year, and then we'll start up again next year. I don't remember the full schedule, but it's in the Sunday reading.
Okay. So, and we got, so how is the church school, and then maybe let's go back and talk briefly about the pastoral school. Maybe that'll be enough.
Oh, okay, good. You mean our church
For
school?
November. Yeah.
Our church school, I think, is great. We have a really good turnout this year, and things have, I thought, have been going very smoothly. I can speak mostly for my class since I'm teaching and Lilia is administering the thing. My class, I think, has been great. I have a really good-sized class. I have 9 to 12-year-olds, but really it's mostly 10 to 12-year-olds, and they have really been doing well. They are asking great questions. They're preparing themselves.
Right.
Yeah, they present one poster during the year. They prepare to lead a discussion of their peers. I think it's great. I'm really excited about the class, and we've had some really, really good sessions with them. The only drawback is it's never enough time. We start at 5, we end at 5:50 so we can get to vigil at 6, and we're always late because they have a lot of questions.
But you can always push vigil back an hour or two.
Well, we could, and I mean,
it is important.
It is important, and
Children.
we could do all-night vigil, so start at midnight or something, but I think that as much time as we had, it would never be enough, and maybe that's good. But they have a lot of good questions, and we've had a lot of good discussions, and I'm getting from the other teachers and from Lilia that that's the case also in their classes as well. I'm really excited about the church school. And pastoral school, well, I'm really excited about the pastoral school. I think we talked about the fact that we went to a new software platform this year.
Kick Moodle to the curb?
Yes, Moodle got kicked to the curb. Moodle was really unstable for us and didn't provide a lot of support for the faculty. Whereas what we've gone with, which is called Populi, is really scalable. It's really nice. It's super stable. We haven't had any problems with performance, and they have an 800 number for the students or the faculty if they have a question. They have online technical support. It's been great. So the stability is really much better, and of course that makes the learning experience much better because the students and the instructors can talk to each other. So yeah, it's been really great.
Okay.
And we're working on some very exciting things for the pastoral school. Which I can't say now because we haven't officially gone forward with those things, but we are working behind the scenes really hard on a couple of really exciting things for the pastoral school. So in the next couple of months, we'll be letting that out. We'll be broadening our reach considerably after this academic year.
Okay. Well, I will look forward to that.
Good.
And I'll look forward to another meeting with you for December. Oh, we gotta talk real quick. It's Thanksgiving, but we can eat the turkey this year.
This year we can eat the turkey.
But then on the 28th, it's
Lent.
St. Philip, right?
That's right.
Or actually the 27th.
It's the 27th, yeah.
Okay.
So, which is a Friday. So, as people who use the church traditional calendar or old calendar, if you like, we do have most of the time Thanksgiving not in Lent, which is good. I was talking to someone about this though, some historian, I can't remember exactly the context of the conversation, but it was basically whether there was turkey at that first Thanksgiving, not really clear. The likelihood of there having been salmon, almost 100%.
How about Orthodox pilgrims?
Well, what I'm saying is that when we participate in the Lenten time and we're having salmon for our Thanksgiving, we're probably being more authentic even than when we have turkey. But this year we can have turkey, and I'm happy about that.
So will salmon always be okay on a fasting Thanksgiving?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we're, especially in that fast, the Nativity fast, a little flexibility is important.
And you're the rector, and so you can
Yes.
say that.
Well, as long as I'm making the schedule, John,
Yeah.
that's going to be a fast, a
Okay.
fish day.
Okay.
All right?
That sounds great.
Good.
Like I was saying, I look forward to the December Vladcast. In the meantime, see you at St. Vladimir's.
Thank you, John.
And I'll see you in about a month for the December Vladcast. Don't miss it. Bye.